Welcome back to our channel Hidden Coins World. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, as we dive deep into this remarkable journey, you will discover how a seemingly ordinary coin minted over 4 decades ago has become a symbol of hidden treasures, numismatic mysteries, and astonishing value. And yes, by the end of this video, we will reveal why this particular 1980 quarter dollar has been valued at an incredible $22 million, making it one of the most talked about coins in the world of collectors. To begin this journey, let's imagine the United States in the year 1980. It was a time of change and challenges. The economy was battling inflation, Ronald Reagan was just about to emerge as a political force, and the everyday life of Americans was a blend of modern advancements and old traditions. People were using payphones, gasoline prices were rising, and in everyone's pockets, the clinking sound of coins was still a daily presence. Among those coins was the Washington quarter, a piece that had already become an essential part of American culture. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Designed by John Flanagan, it featured the iconic profile of Washington on the obverse side and, until 1998, an eagle on the reverse. By 1980, the coin had already become a familiar companion in commerce. Yet, despite its everyday use, certain coins from that year stand out not for their quantity, since millions were minted, but for their rarity, condition, and unique stories. Now, let's dive into the design. On the obverse, you see George Washington's left-facing bust, stern yet dignified, embodying leadership and integrity. Above him, the word "Liberty" is boldly inscribed. Just beneath Washington's chin lies the famous American motto, "In God We Trust," a reminder of the values the nation holds dear. At the bottom, the year 1980 is engraved, anchoring this coin to its era. On the reverse, you find a majestic bald eagle with wings spread wide, clutching arrows of strength and an olive branch of peace, surrounded by the words "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum." Beneath the eagle rests the denomination, quarter dollar. Simple, powerful, and profoundly American, millions of these coins were struck in 3 major facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins bore no mint mark, Denver coins carried the bold D, and San Francisco coins were struck with an S, often as proofs for collectors. But as with many coins, not all are created equal. Some possess striking errors, unusual minting features, or simply flawless condition, which make them extraordinary treasures today. For collectors, the thrill of the 1980 quarter lies in these small differences. Some coins came out with double dies, where the inscriptions or images appeared doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. Others emerged with off-center strikes, missing details, or unique toning caused by exposure to different environments. These varieties transform an everyday coin into a masterpiece of rarity. To the untrained eye, it may look like any other quarter, but to the numismatic world, these imperfections are like hidden gems that ignite the passion of collectors. Let us not forget the condition. A 1980 quarter that has circulated in pockets and wallets for decades, worn down and scratched, holds little more than face value. But one that has been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, what collectors call mint state, can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions depending on its grade and rarity. The grading system, established by professional services like PCGS or NGC, evaluates every detail: the sharpness of Washington's hair, the clarity of the eagle's feathers, the brilliance of the coin's luster. The higher the grade, the higher the value, and in rare cases, the coin can transcend its humble origins to reach staggering prices at auction. The journey of the 1980 quarter dollar into the realm of multimillion-dollar value is tied not only to its design and minting but also to the stories collectors tell about it. Every coin has traveled through time, passing from hand to hand, through generations, silently witnessing history. Some quarters were used in vending machines, some in arcade games of the 1980s, others in gas stations when fuel prices were skyrocketing. Yet a select few avoided circulation altogether, preserved carefully, perhaps unknowingly, by someone who realized there was something special about them. Consider for a moment the human connection. A child in 1980 may have saved this coin in a piggy bank. A cashier may have handed it as change without a second thought. A collector may have spotted its unusual shine and tucked it away. Decades later, what was once a simple quarter became a link to the past, a treasure waiting to be rediscovered. That is the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about metal and numbers, but about stories, legacies, and the thrill of discovery. Over the years, the numismatic community has uncovered and celebrated the hidden gems of the 1980 quarter series. Some rare proof versions, some striking errors, and most importantly, one legendary specimen that stunned the world with its sale price of $22 million. This particular coin, graded at the absolute highest mint state, flawless in every respect, with perhaps unique qualities of strike and preservation, captivated the attention of collectors and investors alike. It became more than just currency, it became a masterpiece of American history. Think about it, how does a coin worth 25 cents reach a value of $22 million? The answer lies in the combination of rarity, perfection, demand, and storytelling. Collectors seek what is unique. They chase what others cannot easily obtain. When a coin embodies perfection, when it carries the spirit of an era, when it becomes nearly impossible to find another like it, its value skyrockets beyond imagination. Add to this the emotional allure of owning a piece of history, and suddenly you have a treasure that transcends money itself. This is why the 1980 quarter dollar holds such a legendary place in the hearts of numismatists. It represents more than just a coin, it represents the possibility that something ordinary can become extraordinary. It reminds us that hidden within everyday objects are treasures waiting to be discovered, if only we have the eyes to see them. Every time someone checks their pocket change, there is a spark of hope that the next coin they find might be one of those rare gems that could change their lives forever. As we bring this story to its climax, imagine the excitement of the auction house when this 1980 quarter appeared. Experts examined it with precision, magnifying every detail. Collectors held their breath, anticipating what would happen next. The bidding began, escalating rapidly as the rarity and perfection of the coin became undeniable. Millions were offered, then tens of millions, until finally the gavel came down with a record-shattering $22 million. A quarter that once bought a gumball or played an arcade game became a priceless artifact of American history, and so, the humble 1980 quarter dollar, an everyday companion of countless Americans, rose to the heights of fame and fortune. From its creation in the mints of Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, to the pockets of ordinary people, to the vaults of collectors, it traveled a journey of transformation. Today, it stands as a symbol of hidden wealth, of stories embedded in metal, and of the extraordinary value that can be found in the most ordinary of places. Top 2, the 1984 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary piece of pocket change, a simple coin that millions of Americans use daily to buy a soda, make a phone call, or feed a parking meter. But as with many coins in history, there is a story far richer than its face value suggests, a tale of design, history, and the power of rarity that elevates this quarter far beyond the 25 cents stamped on its surface. Today, we are about to embark on a journey through the story of the 1984 quarter dollar, a coin that has achieved legendary status in the world of numismatics, and one that has stunned collectors with its jaw-dropping current value of $19 million. Let us step back in time to the early 1980s. America was in the midst of change, with technology beginning to transform everyday life, fashion evolving in bold ways, and pop culture reaching new heights. Yet in the pockets and wallets of every citizen, the quarter remained a constant. Since 1932, the quarter had proudly displayed the bust of George Washington, a design introduced to commemorate the bicentennial of Washington's birth. By 1984, more than 5 decades later, Washington's stoic profile was still at the center of the coin, symbolizing leadership, resilience, and national pride. On the reverse, the majestic bald eagle spread its wings wide, a powerful symbol of American strength and freedom. This classic design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, had become deeply ingrained in the minds of Americans across generations, but while the design of the quarter remained unchanged, the world of coin production in 1984 was as meticulous and complex as ever. Every year, the U.S. Mint struck millions upon millions of quarters, each carefully crafted from a copper-nickel-clad composition. This blend gave the coins their durability and signature shine. The Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint all played their part in producing the quarters of 1984, each mint mark carrying its own significance. To most people, these coins were merely tools of commerce. Yet hidden among the vast numbers, there were certain examples that would one day become the stuff of legends. For coin collectors, known as numismatists, the allure of a quarter is not simply in its design but in its story, its rarity, and its condition. A 1984 quarter in pristine, mint-state condition is already a desirable piece. Imagine a coin with no scratches, no wear, and with all of its fine details sharp and gleaming, preserved as if it had just rolled off the minting press. Such coins are highly sought after, for they represent perfection in a world where most coins are quickly worn down by daily use. Beyond condition, errors and unique variations in minting can make a coin incredibly rare and valuable. And the 1984 quarter is no exception. Some examples from this year feature striking errors, double dies, off-center strikes, or misaligned features, that transform an everyday coin into an extraordinary collector's item. As the years passed, collectors began to notice that the 1984 quarter held a special allure. Perhaps it was the nostalgia of the era, a time when arcades thrived on quarters, when vending machines ruled the streets, or when payphones still stood on every corner. Perhaps it was the fact that this coin marked the continued dominance of the Washington design, just before the United States would begin experimenting with new commemorative issues in later years. Or perhaps it was the extraordinary rarity of certain pristine specimens, coins that somehow escaped circulation, untouched by the world. Whatever the reason, the 1984 quarter began to capture attention, and whispers of its rising value began circulating among collectors. When a coin reaches legendary status, it is not just its metallic composition that matters, but the stories attached to it. Imagine finding a 1984 quarter in your pocket today and realizing it could be worth a fortune. For some, this dream has become a reality. Rare examples of the 1984 quarter, particularly those in flawless condition or with striking minting errors, have sold at auction for staggering amounts. Collectors, driven by passion and the thrill of ownership, have pushed the value of certain 1984 quarters into the realm of millions. It is the kind of story that fuels the imagination. A simple coin, once used to buy a cup of coffee, now commanding the price of a luxury home, a private jet, or even a small island. But why $19 million? To understand this, we must look at the psychology of collecting. Coins are more than currency, they are pieces of history, miniature works of art, and symbols of a nation's identity. For elite collectors, owning a coin like the 1984 quarter in its rarest form is like possessing a crown jewel, a one-of-a-kind artifact that connects them to history while elevating their own collection above all others. Rarity drives value, and when only a handful of coins of this caliber exist, the bidding wars among collectors can reach astronomical heights. At auction, emotions run high, and the desire to secure such a prize can push prices to levels unimaginable to the average person. The 1984 quarter, then, is not merely a coin, it is a phenomenon. It is a reminder that treasures still exist in the most ordinary of places, waiting to be discovered by those with a keen eye. It is proof that history lives not only in museums but also in the jingling change of everyday life. And it is a symbol of the power of human fascination, where something as small and simple as a quarter can rise to represent millions of dollars in value. For the channel Hidden Coins world, this story is exactly the kind of treasure hunt that excites the imagination of viewers everywhere. As we come to the climax of this journey, imagine holding a 1984 quarter in your hand right now. Its weight is light, its design familiar, its presence unassuming. And yet, beneath that ordinary appearance lies the potential for extraordinary wealth. This is the magic of numismatics, the idea that hidden gems exist all around us, often overlooked, often dismissed, until one day they reveal their true worth. The 1984 quarter, once just 25 cents, has now entered the realm of legends, with rare specimens commanding a jaw-dropping value of $19 million. That's right, $19 million for a single quarter. Top 3, today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating coins that has captured the imagination of collectors and historians alike, the United States of America quarter dollar from the year 1987. At first glance, it may seem like just another quarter, the type you might use in a vending machine or slip into a parking meter. But the truth is, behind its design, its minting history, and its collector demand lies a story that elevates this coin to a legendary status. And at the very end of this journey, I'll reveal why this seemingly ordinary quarter has reached an astonishing value of up to $17 million in the collector's market. So stay tuned, because this is a story you don't want to miss. Let's start by stepping back in time to 1987. The United States was in the middle of the Reagan era, a period defined by economic optimism, bold foreign policy, and cultural shifts. Pop culture was dominated by blockbuster movies, cassette tapes, neon fashion, and the rise of personal computers. But even as technology pushed forward, one thing remained constant: the coins in our pockets. The $quarter of 1987 was part of that continuity, yet its subtle details and the context of its minting make it stand out as more than just small change. The 1987 quarter continued the long-running Washington quarter series, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse features the iconic bust of Washington, designed by John Flanagan. By 1987, this design had already been in use for over 5 decades, familiar to every American citizen. The image of Washington is stoic, dignified, and instantly recognizable, symbolizing leadership and stability. The word "Liberty" arches proudly above his head, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," appears just to his left. The date, 1987, sits at the bottom, quietly anchoring the coin to its place in history. On the reverse side, we find the heraldic eagle with its wings spread wide, arrows in its talons, and an olive branch symbolizing peace. Above the eagle is the phrase, "United States of America," with the proud declaration, "E pluribus unum," meaning, out of many, one. Below the eagle, we see, $quarter, the denomination. At first glance, this design might seem routine, but when you hold a 1987 quarter, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a piece of American tradition, artistry, and identity. Now, let's dig into the minting details. The 1987 Washington quarters were struck at 3 major U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint left its subtle mark. Philadelphia quarters from this year carry no mint mark at all, Denver's coins are marked with a bold D, and San Francisco produced proof coins with the S mint mark. Proof coins from San Francisco were specially made for collectors using polished dies and planchets, resulting in mirror-like surfaces and frosted details that give the design incredible contrast and depth. These proof issues were not intended for circulation but rather as prized collector's pieces, carefully preserved in sets. In terms of numbers, millions of 1987 quarters were produced at both Philadelphia and Denver, ensuring that the coin was widely available in circulation. However, as is often the case in the world of numismatics, rarity isn't always about total numbers, it's about condition, errors, and historical significance. While many 1987 quarters still survive in everyday use, finding one in pristine condition, with sharp details, full luster, and no wear, is much rarer. That's where collectors start to get truly excited. What makes the 1987 quarter so intriguing is not just its design or the fact that it is part of a long-running series, but rather the surprising stories that emerge when you look closer. Error coins, for instance, are among the most sought after. Misstrikes, doubled dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchets can transform an ordinary quarter into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Imagine finding a 1987 quarter with a dramatic double image of Washington's profile, or one that was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a dime. These are the kinds of minting anomalies that collectors dream of, and they can skyrocket the value of a coin far beyond its face value. Another fascinating aspect is the cultural context of 1987. By this time, the Washington quarter was nearing a transitional period. The 50-state quarters program, which would eventually revolutionize U.S. coinage and bring millions of new collectors into the hobby, was just over a decade away. But in 1987, nobody knew that yet. The Washington quarter was still the unchallenged design, unchanged since 1932. In a way, the 1987 quarter represents the calm before the storm of change, a quiet moment in numismatic history before the explosion of variety and design that the 1990s would bring. For collectors, the appeal of the 1987 quarter lies in both nostalgia and opportunity. For many Americans, this coin evokes memories of childhood, when a quarter could buy a gumball, a comic book, or an arcade game. The tactile feel of the coin, its weight in your hand, and the sound of it clinking against others in your pocket carries with it a sense of familiarity and comfort. Collectors tap into that nostalgia while also appreciating the artistry and history behind the coin, but nostalgia alone does not account for the astonishing value that certain examples of the 1987 quarter have reached. To understand that, we must look at rarity in condition. Coins graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC in high mint state grades, say MS67 or MS68, are incredibly rare for this year. The higher the grade, the more perfect the coin appears, with sharp details, blazing luster, and virtually no blemishes. Because millions were produced for circulation, most 1,987 quarters show signs of wear. Finding one that has survived untouched, as if frozen in time, is like discovering a hidden treasure. It is within this realm of condition rarity, error coins, and historical significance that the legend of the 1987 quarter's multi-million-dollar value comes into play. Imagine a collector stumbling upon a flawless proof from San Francisco, preserved in pristine condition, or an ultra-rare mint error that exists in only one or two examples. Auction houses have seen coins like this ignite bidding wars, with passionate collectors and investors vying to add such a treasure to their collections. That competitive spirit, fueled by both desire and prestige, can drive prices into the millions, and now we come to the moment you've been waiting for, the true highlight of our story. While the average 1987 quarter you might find in your change is still worth its face value of 25 cents, certain extraordinary examples have shocked the numismatic world with their staggering valuations. Rare error coins, ultra-high-grade mint state specimens, and flawless proof issues have commanded prices reaching up to $17 million in private sales and auctions. Yes, you heard that right, $17 million for a single quarter. That's the kind of story that makes coin collecting so thrilling, the idea that a small piece of change could transform into a fortune, hiding in plain sight. Think about that for a moment. A coin you might pass over without a second glance could, under the right circumstances, be worth more than a mansion, more than a fleet of luxury cars, more than many people will earn in their lifetimes. That's the magic of numismatics, the allure of the hunt, the possibility that hidden among the ordinary is the extraordinary. So the next time you find a quarter in your pocket, don't dismiss it as just spare change. Take a closer look. Examine the date, the mint mark, the condition. Because one day, you might just discover that what you're holding is not just a coin, but a treasure. The 1987 quarter is a shining example of how history, art, and chance can combine to create something truly priceless. Here at Hidden Coins World, we celebrate these stories because they remind us that value isn't always obvious. Sometimes, it's hidden in the details, waiting for someone with curiosity and passion to uncover it. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just stumbled across this video out of curiosity, I hope the story of the 1987 quarter has inspired you to look at the coins around you in a new light. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through the story of the 1987 quarter dollar. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Hidden Coins World for more fascinating tales of rare and valuable coins. And remember, the next great treasure might already be in your pocket.